So New Zealand are the world champions. They managed to overhaul their target of 139 for the loss of 2 wickets, but it was a battle to get there because Williamson and Taylor put on 96 together for the 3rd wicket after New Zealand were 44 for 2. Conway was out for 19, LBW to Ashwin. Latham just a few moments before had been stumped by punt off Ashwin as the pressure was starting to bite. They were set 53 overs, to score 139, and it was tough. It's been tough throughout. This pitch has not been easy at all. And you could just feel the pressure building on those openers, who were both dismissed. Williamson was actually given out LBW on 1, but that was successfully reviewed. Taylor was dropped on 26 with 55 needed. So there's a little bit of good fortune there, and certainly quite a lot in the playing and missing that went on as well. India's seam bowlers were outstanding, seam bowling throughout this match has been excellent on a pitch that's given them all that little bit of help. So earlier on, India, well, they resumed 32 behind, and they were bowled out for 170. They lost 8 for 106. And it was Kyle Jameson again who really excelled for New Zealand. 24 overs, 10 maidens, 2 for 30. So his match figures are 46 overs, 22 maidens, 7 for 61. Extraordinary figures, really. Tim Southey picked up 4 wickets today, but he did drop Pant on 5. He went on to score 41. And the game could have been done and dusted had he taken that relatively straightforward catch at slip after Kohli was out for 13. It was Jameson who removed him and also Pujara in very quick succession, and that was what really blew the Indian house down. Ravi Jadeja scored 16. Mohammad Shami had a bit of a swipe and got 13, but 170, so I think 139 never seemed likely to be enough, and New Zealand have got there with 8 wickets in hand. So Jeremy Coney's here, and well, as a Kiwi, Jeremy, how do you feel about that? That's
very pleased. I mean, very pleased for these players.
Yeah.
I've sat up in this position as you have for many years, Aggers, and we've seen lots of games together, and it's been a long time for this group, and they've worked hard at their game, and they've gone through some pretty difficult times, and they've nevertheless they worked themselves. They're a very disciplined group, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hallmark of New Zealand.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, even during this match, nothing flashy, nothing flashy at all. I mean, the discovery of Jameson has meant a lot to this team.
Yep.
I think he's just added an extra component. I mean, I'm looking at Tim Southey there, who's speaking to somebody on the telly at the moment. But even you mentioned those 4 wickets he got in that second innings after dropping a catch to come back from those sorts of things. There's 30 runs, 30 useful runs from Tim Southey. You know, they all just keep putting things together and putting those disappointments aside, and collectively they've been able to do something and achieve something here. They'll remember this. There'll be lots of memories going on in that room there now, and these in the last 6 days that New Zealand have been here.
And I know we're talking about the one-day World Cup final, but I mean, they were so devastated by that, and you know, like Tim Southey and others. I've talked to him about it as well. It's just so good for them.
Well, it caught. Yes, it did. It caught them out. I think that result. They probably felt that they didn't deserve that, but never mind. They've got over it, and they've now come back strongly. I'm glad it's the test format too, actually, Aggers, because for me it's the most important game.
Yes.
The most important format that we watch. Not for everybody, but I've chosen that, and I think it tests all the skills. It's a longer game. Every part of your game, and to do that, I think, is very important. Look at old Ross Taylor there. He can't believe it either. No. But he's had 108 of these, and I only had 50 odd. How many did you have? Not many either. So I mean, it's it's such a lot of cricket to be playing.
Yeah, it is, absolutely, and it's all real to sort of focus on this. The match, but actually this is the end of a long process, isn't it? And as of tomorrow it starts again, and the new championship starts. All the points start. It's slightly revised and so on. But it's a long slog to get here.
Oh, yes,
it's not just about winning this match.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. It has been a long time. New Zealand, some people would say they need to win some more away games.
Yeah.
You know, it was predicated on winning games in New Zealand. But 3 series away, one of them, of course, COVID put paid to in the Bangladesh series that New Zealand were in. That we didn't play any of that. We managed to get 1 win against Sri Lanka and were thumped by Australia.
Let's hear from Tim Southey then. You saw him talking on the telly. He was talking to Simon Dool.
Let's get a little bit of insight from one of the New Zealanders who is now a world test champion. Tim Southey, how's that feel? How's it sound?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I guess 2 years ago when you started out this journey, and to be sitting here, I guess the first World Test Championship winners is pretty rewarding. There's a lot of hard work that goes in behind the scenes and over the last 2 years, and to be sitting here, it's a pretty special moment.
What's been the key for this New Zealand side? We talk so much about it. In your mind, what is it?
I think a word that comes to mind is the consistency. Consistency through selection, consistency through performances, never giving up. Just there's a lot of heart in the side, and the guys thoroughly enjoy each other's company, and we do a lot for each other. So I think it's just satisfying now to sit back and be able to achieve what we've achieved over the last couple of years. So it's it dates back a lot further than the last couple of years. To the start of what we sort of when we turned around, but to sit here and be where we are today, it's a pretty special feeling.
How appropriate that 2 of New Zealand's modern greats were out in the middle to see you home.
Yeah, the changing room was a lot calmer, knowing you got 2 experienced guys out there, and once they got themselves in, it was probably the longest 139 runs I think I've ever experienced. But yeah, it was nice to know you got 2 quality players and 2 experienced guys out there in the middle, so that did make it a little bit easier watching, knowing that those two were out there.
Your own performances in the last 18 months to 2 years have been exceptional as well. You just keep finding a way, Tim, to improve and hone your skills.
Yeah, I think as any international sports person, you're looking at ways to get better and looking at ways to continue to improve. So it's no different for me, and I really enjoyed being a part of this group. I think the guys push each other, not only in their cricket skills, but fitness and everything that comes with it. So it's just a great group to be around, and it's a pretty special time at the moment.
Tell me how it feels to be part of this for BJ Watling in his last Test match, because he's a guy you know and have played a lot with.
Yeah, his behaviours and that, they sum up what this team means, and we set out at the start of this tour to send them off on the right note, and I couldn't think of a more fitting way to send out one of our champion blokes and one of our champion players of this Test side. He's been tremendous to be part of this side for a long time. What he's given to this team is just, he's given everything to it, and I couldn't be happier for him to go out on this note.
Well said, Tim. Congratulations. You're going to go up and join the crowd and take your shirt off?
I don't take my shirt off, but I'll go to the change room and enjoy a cold beer.
Good stuff, mate. Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks,
I should think he will. They're up there still in the dressing room at the moment, actually, because they're still erecting this structure down there, this sort of backdrop. Champions, it says, and no doubt the New Zealand team will be lined up on there, and they'll be presented with the mace. They are the World Test Champions, and there's a posse of photographers waiting there to capture that moment, but the players are all off the ground at the moment, and a lot of the Indian supporters who are here have filtered away. They've given a great deal of noise and enthusiasm and atmosphere to this game, by the way, and it was great to have 4,000 in here. I was just so sorry that 2 days worth were washed out for those who came, but without the drumming and the noise and the enthusiasm and the instruments, it wouldn't have been quite the same. Let's hear from Ross Taylor then. He finished on 47 not out.
Ross Taylor, congratulations, Ross, World Test Champions. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's obviously still sinking in, but it's been a long way. I guess the journey's been a couple of years coming. A lot of rain over the last couple of days, but I thought the way the team fought from the day one, and to be out there at the end with Kane, who's been a fantastic leader for this team for a long period of time, and to be out there in a pressure situation there for a little bit, I guess something I'll never forget.
Yeah, you say this has been a long 6 days. Your career, it's been a heck of a career, Ross, and some ups, some downs. How big a highlight in your career is this moment?
Oh, it would have to be the highlight to say you're world champions. You know, at the start of my career, you know, we probably didn't think we had the side that could do that. But the way the team have built over the years, stuck together. You know, I think this is probably for the fans over there and back home as well. I think they've stuck with us through thick and thin, and you know, hopefully there's a few Kiwis waking up that are very proud at the moment.
I'm sure there will be. That we're just watching the winning moment in there. How were your nerves when you went out to bat today, and what were you talking to Kane about through that partnership?
Yeah, I think it wasn't easy to start, and Kane just kept reiterating that it's going to get easier. Obviously the run rate wasn't a factor for a long period there, so just stick in there and it will become easier. But you know, this is a classy Indian side. They keep coming. They never gave up, and they put us under pressure. And when you add the World Cup obviously to that, you know, there's a lot of pressure there. But it was nice to be able to stand up to that.
Roscoe Athers here. I was just wondering about that ball that Jasprit Bumrah bowled to you. Thankful you had your helmet on at that point.
Yeah, I said to Kane, I said, I felt like I had to get forward to that, and he was like, yeah, no, that was definitely took off. But you know, he's a world-class bowler, and you have to be on. And thanks to my helmet for saving me there. But no, it was, you know, something that I'll never forget, and nice to see it through to the end.
You talked about the low points. I wondered whether I could take you right back to that kind of 45 all out at Cape Town and the journey beyond that point. I mean, there have been some incredible highs, some lows as well, but that's what makes it all worthwhile, presumably, at a moment like this.
No, 100%. I think you probably don't even need to go back that far. 2019 World Cup was something that was very tough for us at the time, but you know, this makes up for that in a long time. But I'm sure over time we'll sink in a little bit more. But I guess that's where the family and friends and all the sacrifices they've made over the years. You know, this makes it extra special, not only for us but for them as well.
Family and the wife and kids, I'm sure, are up. Roscoe, you want to say hello?
I go to bed. But yeah, I think they've got croup at the moment, so they've probably been up all night anyway. So not a bad time to be waking up if they are.
Oh, what a great day for New Zealand and for yourself, Ross. Congratulations, World Test champions, and enjoy the night.
Thank you.
There we are, Ross Taylor speaking to Simon Doolan, Mike Atherton, and now we've got Kane Williamson walking down the steps from the New Zealand dressing room, and this is the moment when they're going to be presented with the mace. The players rather hanging back there, actually, allowing the captain to go out first into the shadows of the far end there of the pavilion, and he'll come out onto the grass. I think BJ Watling's just behind him, so a wonderful moment for him, bowing out of Test cricket, of course, after a very long and distinguished career. And he'll have a few thoughts going through his mind, I'm sure, about all of that. But down they come, one by one. The Indians, I think, just allowing the stage to be New Zealand's, and again they wave towards those shirtless supporters over there to our left-hand side, who've given them such good support. The coaching staff, of course, all coming down as well to be part of this, and we'll keep an eye on what's happening down there. It is right at the far end of the ground, so it's a bit tricky to describe absolutely what's going on, but I think we can guess for sure that they'll be presented with that World Champions mace anytime now. Before we move on a bit, Andy, any sort of statistical things you want to throw in at this stage?
Well, just a couple of things that highlight what an outstanding team New Zealand have become, and well, two players have come in recently that have turned them from an already good team into the world champion team. They'd lost, as Jeremy said, heavily in Australia. After that series, Kyle Jamieson came in. He's played 8 tests. He's taken 46 wickets at an average of 14, which is the best start to a bowler's test career in terms of average after 8 matches since the 1880s. And it compares favourably with the best 8 matches of Richard Hadley's career. Right at his peak, he took 49 wickets at 13. So Jamieson's up there with the best any New Zealander has ever bowled in Test cricket. And in this game, 46 overs, 7 for 61, the most economical match in England by a seam bowler since 1980, as well as those 7 wickets, including Kohli in both innings, the first seamer to get Kohli out in both innings of a Test since 2014. And Kane Williamson in the match, 101 off 268, for once out. I think, you know, if he'd scored that as one single century, we'd be talking about it as one of the classic captain's innings under pressure in a final, spread over 2 innings. And he blunted the New Zealand's, the Indian seamers who bowled well but couldn't have the same effect as their New Zealand opponents. Williamson averages 66 in his last 50 test matches, up there with the best 50 test sequences of any players in test history. So those and Devon Conway came in 200 on debut, 80 at Edgbaston, and a very important first innings half century here. He's had one of the best 3-match starts to a test career of any batsman, but it's been a team effort. All their bowlers contributors. Southey 5 wickets. He's taken over 100 wickets in his last 20 tests. Trent Boult 5 wickets. Neil Wagner only 3, but that 12-over spell today in which he softened up the Indians as soon as he came off. Some loose shots came and the Indian tail subsided for the second time in the match. They lost with only a few overs to spare, and those 2 tail-end collapses possibly what cost them a share of this championship.
Thank you, Andy. All presented in a nutshell as always. We've got a couple of minutes left, Jeremy. I mean, we're going to see more of India. We've got 5 tests against them coming up, against England, and everyone will be talking about the Ashes. But these fellas are
they're going to test you.
They're going to be really good, aren't they?
They certainly are.
Yeah.
The batting lineup to me is just extraordinary, and they'll play on some easier pitches, I think, and surfaces than this. Yeah. And so we might see a lot more and some better play, stroke play from them, where they're not having to defend quite so much, and they can show us a different part of their game. The bowling, yeah, I think they probably would regret having both spinners now, looking back at it.
Yes.
I guess one spinner, Ashwin, did the job. He got 2 and 2 or 2 and 3, and gave the seamers a rest at various times. But you know, Siraj might have been a better option for them, so that they wouldn't have got that fatigue perhaps at times they had yesterday, especially with the heavy legs on this sort of at that stage a fairly damp outfield.
And having not played either. I mean, that's the point. I mean,
that's right. And coming from T20 cricket.
Yes, absolutely. But that pace attack, and they've got a lot of numbers, plenty of support as well. I mean, 5 tests. There's a bit of a gap between 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. One of the 2 anyway. There's only 10 days or something.
Right.
But they might be burning through those quick bowlers a bit if the pitches are helpful with the Duke's balls and so on. But I mean, you look at England's side. England have got a lot of improving to do, because if they could be up against the Indian pace attack in anything that helps them, they're a real.
England are really going to have to play well, aren't they? Yeah. Will they have access to all their good players now? I mean, will the likes of the chaps that were sitting out?
Yes, I mean, there might be a bit of rotation going on, which is something that New Zealand, I see, note.
We don't tend to do that. No.
And well, it'll be talked about a lot, I'm sure, in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Before that happens, BJ Watling's giving an interview. He's bowing out, as we know. And, a beaten up old.
Oh, what a gentleman he is, though.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, quietly, and you know, and just such a determined, hard worker, hard trainer. I mean, he's wonderful for the rest of the players there to see that.
You're listening to the TMS podcast from BBC Radio 5 Live.
That was Jeremy Coney with Jonathan Agnew. Here's the India captain Virat Kohli with Michael Atherton.
Virat, a very tense final, worthy of Test cricket in many ways. I'm sure at this moment you'd like to play tribute to Kane and his team.
Yeah, for sure. First up, big congratulations to Kane and the whole team. I think they showed great consistency and heart over whatever time we had on the field to pull out a result in 3 days, basically. And yeah, credit to them for sticking to their processes for long enough, put us under pressure throughout the course of this game, and they thoroughly deserve the win.
It was a difficult stop-start game in many ways. Where did you think you came up short?
Yeah, look, the first day that got washed out firstly, and then when play resumed, it was difficult to get any sort of momentum on that day. We lost only 3 wickets, probably would have had a few more runs if play had gone on for a bit longer consistently. And then I think we did really well with the ball in the first innings to pull things back nicely. But I think this morning was the difference where, the Kiwi bowlers really executed their plans to perfection and as I said, kept putting us under pressure and didn't allow us to get any scoring opportunities regularly, which, really started pushing us back in the game. And in the end, I thought we were 30 or 40 short to put them under serious pressure in the last innings.
You name your team 2 days out. I wondered, given the rain and the conditions that eventually came for the 5-day game, do you regret naming it so far out in advance? And in retrospect, would you consider a different balance to the team?
Not really. I mean, you need to have a fast bowling all-rounder for that. And, the combination that we play, we've been successful with that over different conditions all over the world. So we all came to a conclusion that that's the best 11 we can take on the field. That gives us batting depth as well. So we wanted to cover all bases and, if we had more game time, if the wicket wore out a bit more, then the spinners might have come into the game a bit more, I guess. But yeah, look, in hindsight, you can think about these things, but we all made a unanimous decision that this is the best 11 we can take on the park.
Just seen a former teammate, Kyle Jamieson, walk off with the Player of the Match award. You can see why you want him at RCB.
Yeah, look, he's a quality cricketer, and he's coming up nicely in international cricket. Really good areas with the ball, and he's a gutsy batsman as well when he gets an opportunity. So, yeah, look, I played a bit of cricket with him in RCB, and he's certainly got the same attitude when he plays there as he does for New Zealand as well. Yeah, he's had a great game and thoroughly deserves the man of the match.
You've been a staunch defender of Test cricket. Just give us your thoughts on the format, the World Test Championship, and the chance to play in this inaugural final.
Yeah, look, it's great for the game. The more the test format is given importance, it's going to keep international cricket alive, and Test cricket is probably the heartbeat of international cricket. So I think this format will definitely help Test cricket be exciting. No Test match is going to be boring. Every team's going to go for the result, as you saw in this game as well. So yeah, I think it's a great move by ICC and puts that much on the line for every Test match, as I said, and it's going to get more and more exciting from here on.
Long summer ahead of you in England, 5 Test matches to come, of course. Are you looking forward to those?
Oh yes, we are. Definitely we are. It's a long summer ahead, but we definitely have got the squad and the quality to do something special, and we are really looking forward to the next series.
Many thanks. Thanks for your time. We'll look forward to seeing you in about a month against England.
Cheers. Thank you very much.